think I gave 50% credit to our fans on Wednesday night, and I don't know what the number is today, but it's much higher than that today because we didn't play that well, to be honest. But that's what happens when you have a great home court environment. Your team continues to fight. So I want to send a shout out to our fans that were here, that were really the difference in the game. They were the difference. And why, we harp on it all the time, it's important that they show up because they can do things for us and with us that sometimes we can't do without them. And today was a great example of that. Our fans have never lost us a game. I want to be clear about that. I want everybody to write that and take that message. But they can win games. Fans can help you win games. And today our fans, you go 16 for 28 from the free throw line, have 16 turnovers, and get out rebounded by 8, give up 15 offensive rebounds. So recipe for a loss in this league. It's very rare you can play that way and win, except for if you have a great home court environment. And I want to thank our fans for what they did and pulling us through today. Now, our guys made some plays, no doubt about it, so I don't want to kill them. That's not what this is about. It's about just giving recognition to the energy in the building today, and I think we fed off that, and it kept us afloat enough to make the plays that we needed to make to end the game.
What did you see from your guys in this final 3 minutes or so? It seemed like everything was such a battle, and they started winning those battles in the late moments.
I mean, we've been in these games, many of us together, with Avery, Caleb Boone, Chris Harris to a lesser degree, Musa Cisse last year. Tyreke Smith had some prominent moments at the end of last year. This is what you expect, You expect it to be a grind and a fight, and you just expect that the last 4 minutes somebody's going to step up and make plays, and they're going to have to do it at a really, really high level. And today we had several guys who step up and make meaningful plays. We don't win that game without Musa's defensive presence. And again, we talk about what his value is to our team. They had to change how they tried to attack us just because he was on the court. He also got a couple guys some three-point shots again because he was out there, and the gravity at the rim makes that happen. But yeah, I think our guys were just determined to find a way to get the job done, and that's the mentality you got to have every game out.
How's he feeling? To be helped off at the end?
Better. I think it was a little more of a scare, and I'm not here to diagnose it at all, but from my early reports, it sounds like it was more, more or less like, I hope this isn't happening again right now, and he seemed to be okay. That's all.
What about his block where he looks like he touched the roof?
I don't know what to say. And again, I'm a guy who's not easy to impress from an athlete. I've seen so much in basketball, right? But I watched this kid and his ability to cover ground and clean up mistakes, be able to allow our guards to be as aggressive as they need to be defensively. We needed to run Gabe Kausher off the three-point line today. So him only getting 4 tips is large part because they have confidence that he's back there to help him when he drives. So sensational block, in many ways probably the sealer, in terms of really now putting the game in a fouling situation. But yeah, phenomenal.
Same question, but how's Bryce feeling?
I think he's okay. I haven't got a report on him yet. I didn't even see the play, to be honest. But I don't think it's anything major, but I don't want to report that until I know for a fact. But he seemed to be in good spirits in the locker room, which is always a good indication that it's not maybe as serious as you think at the moment.
You mentioned you guys didn't shoot the free throws very well, kind of got beat up in the paint. It seems like three-point shooting kind of kept you in it, which in Waco we talked about how that didn't go so good. Is it kind of like a live by the three, die by the three kind of mindset?
Again, I've said it. Part of it is just doing it consistently. We have good shooters. I believe that. This isn't last year's team. Last year we didn't have great shooters. We had too many like pieces and didn't have enough skill on the floor to really be able to win this game. We couldn't win this game last year. I don't know if we could have made 9 threes, but John Michael Wright, Avery taking enough. He passed up a couple in the first half. Woody Newton, Caleb Asbury. Those guys are all very capable and work hard at it. So 9 for 21 is a big deal when you don't shoot your free throws and get out rebounded.
Talk about John Michael. He's really struggled the last couple of weeks. And how's his mindset been? And obviously, you know, how big was this game for him?
Yeah, he's been struggling, and it's affected him mentally because obviously he came here with high expectations of himself, and he started every game since he's been here, and hasn't necessarily performed consistently at the level that he knows he's capable of, that he knows his team needs him to perform at. But what you got to do is just keep working at it. You know, it's the hard part is you can't look up at the schedule and be like, okay, we're playing those guys next. I'll be okay. I'm gonna be able to get my game off and get my confidence rolling against them. No, like we're a really good defensive team, and so coming in struggling, we're playing against a team that's even better defensively than we are. But that's where your work gives you confidence. The work that you put in every day when nobody's looking, before the crowd shows up, with your teammates, with your coaches, with the managers, with the walk-ons, gives you the ability to continue to overcome, you know, off shooting night here and there.
You mentioned Avery passing up threes. Seems like you had a long talk with him on the side after he passed up a wide open one. What was the message there, and was that kind of what sparked him in the second half?
Yeah, what I told him was, you know, the truth is they're too good defensively to pass up open shots. You know, I mean, you got to understand when, you know, in our league, when defenses are as good as they are, this is going to be a very rare occasion that you're going to get 2 open shots on one possession. So if you get the first one, like John Michael got a open 3 in the first 3 seconds of the shot clock, you got to take it. Because if you pass it up and then hope that you get another one, you run into the shot clock. Then same thing happened with them. We got, I think, 3 shot clock violations. They passed up some shots, and but they're a terrific team. I have the utmost respect for TJ. You know, he took over a program who didn't win a game in the league 2 years ago. Went to a Sweet 16, is now ranked in the top 15 with a fairly new team. Lost the freshman of the year in the league to a team in the league, and still has found a way to get it done. So great respect for him and the job him and the staff are doing. But certainly thankful for the job that our guys did today and finding a way to get the job done.
You talked about all the work that's gone into it, the ups, the downs. You've had some close games against high-level competition. How rewarding is it to get one against the 12th ranked team in the country?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Cliff. I mean, the thing about it is, it's why, and I talked about this before, why we schedule the way we do in the non-conference. I'm a firm believer in 2 things. One, I'm not going to coach enough to break anybody's winning record. I'm not going to win that many games. Not that I'm not going to win a lot of games, but I'm not coaching enough to win 800 games. Not having it. So I'm going to retire long before that happens. The other part is the league is too hard to not at least have an idea of what you're going to face once January comes around. I mean, you run around and all of a sudden you're facing these teams over and over and over again. And if you don't have anything to draw back on, some experience of going to UConn, of going and playing Virginia Tech on a neutral court, of going to Oakland, even though that's not necessarily a Power 5, but the first road game of the year, playing a team like Southern Illinois who maybe wins their league, playing a Sam Houston who maybe wins their league. Not that those teams are necessarily Final Four contenders, but it gives you a semblance of it. You know, when you get to league and you look at all the hardest schedules remaining in the country are in your league, it's insane. So if you don't give yourself a chance to prepare, you'll find yourself behind an 8 ball and trying to dig your way out of a real confidence barrier in that regard.
You talked the past couple of times that you thought Iowa State was the best team in the conference. What does it mean to be able to beat them today?
I think it means what I've always believed about our team is that we're going to be able to compete with anybody when we defend at the level we're capable of, and on the night where we make shots, it gives us a chance to beat anybody in the country. And so I don't say that arrogantly. It's just what I believe. I've been with these guys since June. I've watched them work. I know the time they put in. I have an unbelievable staff. We don't win this game without our fans. But Larry Blunt and his preparation was sensational. And he knew everywhere Gabe Kalsher was going to go before he went there. So he was able to relay that to Avery Anderson. And because he watched every game and every possession. And the time those guys put in to help these kids prepare should certainly be noted. But Terrence Rencher, same way, David Cason, and I'm very thankful to have a good staff that can help these kids. Even though, you know, there's peaks and valleys in this thing. That's what we talked about today before the game. There was peaks and valleys in life. Everybody looks at success as a linear thing, and the truth is that there's pitfalls, there's valleys on every journey. And even in the game, we were in the valley at halftime. We were in the valley with 8 minutes to go. You just got to find a way to get over the hump and get where you want to go ultimately at the end.
I asked Avery if there was a secret to these halftime adjustments, if there's a certain coach coming in or whatever. He said they all kind of talk among themselves. Just what's going into these halftime adjustments and changes the last 2 games, second half's been.
Well, 2 things. One, we got a mature team that can take ownership of the things that they're not doing as well at the moment. But again, this also goes to my coaching staff. I mean, those guys literally are charting stuff during the game to talk about specifics at halftime. It's not just, oh, we need to shoot the ball better. Well, how? How are we going to get better shots against a team that plays defense that well? How are we going to stop giving up this dunk on this pick and roll? Because it's not just stop the guy from dunking the ball. There's a reason it got there, and it's something that we're not doing well enough. So the staff, the assistant coaches go in there way before I do. I talked about this the other day. And they talk about those adjustments, and then I come in and I talk about some things that I've observed, more generic, and then we just go out there and have a plan for the second half. And the guys take it on. They're very they're very coachable kids, and I hope that we can continue to find a way to be better in second halves, because even when you have a lead, there are things you can do better.
Is this not a knock on ages or anything like that? Is this a sign of growth for you guys as a coaching staff too?
Maybe. I mean, I don't take anything personal, guys. I mean, I think I'm getting better as a coach. I think I'm growing as a coach. 6 years ago, I probably would have had a harder time figuring out a way to get this done with my guys, in all honesty. I'm thankful for Mike Holder for giving me at 35 years old that opportunity to learn on the fly. I'm thankful to Chad Weiberg and Reed Sigmund for continuing to believe and give us an opportunity to coach these guys. But there's no doubt, I feel more prepared today than I did 6 years ago.
You took a dive into the student section. What was that moment like for you?
I don't know. It was kind of an out-of-body experience, to be honest. Whatever it takes, I'm not above anything. We need those kids. We need those kids, and they need to know that I'm with them. That I personally need them. They give me life. I feel like I played today, to be perfectly honest. I told my staff in the locker room before I came in here, I need a sub. One of these games, I'm going to ask one of them to stand up for 4 minutes of the game and coach, and I'm going to sit down. We got to do it with a lead, and I won't tell you guys when it happens, so don't worry about it. But today, I needed a blow. It's just that you got to find a way to grind through it and get it done.
Is your voice ever going to recover?
Whew, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Heard the Moody said it's pretty loud, so.
You're pounding that floor pretty hard when the defense starts up. Do you even realize you're kind of doing that stuff? Or is
Whatever
that
it
more
takes.
out of body?
Whatever it takes. We needed to stop. And, I want those guys, because at that point they can see me. They're down on the other floor, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be out where I am, to be honest. I'll move if they tell me to. I'm pretty, agreeable. But whatever it takes, And a 2-point win feels like a blowout in this league.
TJ was in here talking about how in this conference every game is a big game just because they're all equally competitive. Is that part of the thrill of coaching some of these close games?
Yeah, it's the thrill and the agony. I mean, it's why tonight, as good as I feel about winning, I'm going to go into a state of, I don't want to say panic because that's not the right word, but of kind of hunker down preparation. Texas is really good. They beat us here when we scored 46 points. We got to figure out a way to get some points on the board against those guys. So I'll enjoy this for a couple hours. Turn my computer on, I'll watch this game, and then I'll immediately turn and try to figure out the next really, really good team that we got to try to win on the road.
Does having back-to-back wins make that process any easier, just hunkering down?
Nope. I mean, literally, we're on 2 one-game win streaks right now. It's a mentality. And I challenge our guys to not think of getting on the 3-game win streak. It's not what it's about. It's about trying to win a game against a really good team on Wednesday. How do you do that? When you come into practice tomorrow, today has to be over. If we're thinking anything about today's game, because it's going to be a totally different game again. I said it the other day. The second hardest thing you can do in this league is look ahead. The hardest thing you can do in this league is look behind you. No matter how bad you got beat, no matter how big you won, the next game is going to be harder.
You mentioned Oshun breaking free on pick and rolls there in the first half. What was the breakdown there, and how did it get adjusted in the second half?
Yeah, so schematically, we talked about what we wanted to do specifically with their point guard. And we shouldn't have been in rotation because we weren't really trying to be aggressive, stopping him from scoring necessarily with our big men. We're supposed to be going under, which essentially keeps the roll man in front of our big. And for some reason, we kept getting extended, and our big guy was trying to stop the ball, and so he was just wide open. The problem is you got Gabe Cowsher or Caleb Grill on the backside, where your natural help comes if you are trying to stop the ball with your big. Can't leave those guys. And so while I was disappointed, I was glad that we didn't start leaving those guys. Because just as easy as that guy makes dunks, those guys make threes. So we made the adjustment at halftime of just making sure we let the guard contain it and keep our big guy on their big guy so we could either block out a rebound or our guard could just wall up and make him pass it out.
Just for clarification, was it a goaltending that they called on him when the ball went way up to the scoreboard?
I think it hit the scoreboard.
Okay.
I mean the shot clock,
Check on-
I
okay.
think.
I couldn't get a clear ruling on what that was.
So it went out, it's basically went out of bounds.
Right, okay.
So I think once it's the shot clock, it's out of bounds.
Michael, what is it you have to do? Is it more pizza? Is it more just winning to get Gallagher's, atmosphere the way it has been the last couple of games?
I don't know if I'm the person probably to answer that. I'm here every game. But yeah, if it's pizza, that's fine. Papa John's, if they can make enough, we'll pay for them. Winning obviously helps everything. I get it. But the unique thing about this place is people understand good basketball. I think our kids are playing the game the right way. Doesn't always result in the way we want it to, but we'll keep doing our part, and we'll just keep encouraging the people who are coming to just tell somebody about the experience they're having while they're here.
You had a lot of dead ball situations late where you're able to go offensive, defensive substitution with Moose and Caleb. How important was that ultimately?
Yeah, it was huge. It's why you gotta be careful how you use your timeouts. 'Cause sometimes we needed to call timeout to get that big dude in there on defense at one point. And again, it's nothing against the other one. It's just that they have very different strengths. One is sensational offensively, so we had a possession where we were able to score, get a timeout, put Musa back in, and get a stop. Unfortunately, you don't have unlimited timeouts, so you try to save them for that last, but again, we play in a league where all the games are like this. So the more opportunities you can control who's on the floor to execute the things you need to win, the better chance you'll have to execute what you need to win.
Caleb Asbury has been rebounding the ball pretty well in the last couple games, especially today with winning a lot of those 50-50 ball threats just in the air. What was his impact today?
It's great. I mean, he's been, really solid for us all year. And again, talked about the other night, like his ability to defend perimeter guys, because their point guard's good. Their point guard's gonna be a really good player. I don't know if he had a big day today. He had 8 points, 3 assists, no turnovers, and that's against a lot of pressure. He was in foul trouble. But you got to impact the game at the point of attack. And so if you take Avery off the ball and having another guy like him, or even John Michael, who's capable as well, gives you a dynamic backcourt to then be able to force guys out of their comfort zone. If guys want to start putting their head down and trying to play one-on-one or going to challenge Moose at the rim, I feel really good about us continuing to be able to be a good defensive team.
Anything else for Coach?